jeweled gold filigree crown and a long embroidered velvet burgundy cape that opened into the shape of a cross. Climbing toward the church along the mountain stone path, the deacon held with both hands, high above his head, the staff of a large smithed bronze cross. Behind the deacon walked a line of robed senior priests bearing upon their heads the sacred tabots, wrapped in embroidered silks, gold, and silver brocades. With her father preoccupied by affairs of state, the pretty girl had learned from her mother most of what she knew about the tabots, the ancient engraved stone tablets that had been brought back by King Menelik from Jerusalem more than 1,000 years before in the Ark of the Covenant. Another deacon, younger by a generation than the cross-bearer, carried in both arms a heavy and very large old Bible that was clad in leather and wood. The Bible had been handwritten in the old language, Ge'ez, the Semitic linguistic cousin of Galilean Aramaic, the Semitic tongue the Savior had spoken during his brief life in the north. Following behind the lead group of icon-bearers were hundreds of worshippers making their way up the mountain to the Beta Medhane Elem church to attend the long-anticipated consecration ceremony. The two girls watched, mesmerized by the eddying sea of colors, robes and capes and crowns and exquisitely worked bronze crosses, swimming upward toward them under the brightening sun. Their nostrils filled with the bouquet of frankincense and myrrh spent onto the soaring mountain currents by swinging bronze censers. Trumpets sounded, handbells rang. The jingle of sistra floated up from the banks of the Jordan to the doors of the 11 churches that had been hewn with artisanal precision from a mountain of solid rock with simple 12th century tools. The awe-inspiring project, the work of thousands of hands, had taken 24 years to complete. The girls were all but surpassingly proud of their ancient country, proud of their much-admired kingdom, proud of their people's well-chronicled age-old history, proud of their signal role in the foundation story of Christianity. As the procession neared the church, the girls hugged each other and shook with euphoria. The royal, beaming, said to her friend, "Oh, Meron, isn't this the greatest of days?" Meron answered, "Oh, yes, Liilt," meaning princess. "This may be one of the happiest days of my life." The princess had been thinking much the same thing. She couldn't remember at that moment ever having been happier. "Look, Liilt," called Meron. As Meron was speaking, the princess felt in her ears a pulsating rush of blood and heard an unfamiliar interior voice that was not her own. The voice seemed to be coming from far away and inside her head at the same time. The princess made an effort to ignore the voice and tried to push it away from her, but the voice came again, this time more insistent. It frightened the princess, not least because the one word the voice had sounded inside her head and in the back of her mind was not of her language, Amharic, but of a strange language she'd never heard before and could not understand. "Where, Meron?" But the voice inside her head had by now gained purchase. With the small, soiling undertow of an unwelcome memory, the little voice spoke again, childlike, lovingly. The princess had been happy on that Fasika morning, even as something warned her that she oughtn't have been, something in the back of her mind that kept pushing itself into her thoughts. Then she heard the strange foreign word again. The word seemed to have been spoken by a child, a boy child. Grandma. Her eyes came open, fully open, but she could no longer see the Abyssinian mountain that the Sabbath sun had turned red like fire. She could no longer see the calm waters of the River Jordan, or the church faithful in their ceremonial finery, or the magnificent stone worship houses her people had carved from solid rock. She could no longer see anything. She was blind. For a long and disconcerting moment, she did not know who she was or where she was. Only 5 to 8 seconds later did she begin to realize that she